So hello everyone. This is our sales project from NU, and we've invited our special guest Tom Vinainmont. He's from Belgium. He has a PhD in finance, and etc. And also he's expert in this area. He teached investments, financial modeling, finance. Yeah, I'm correct.
I have class on financial modeling and credit modeling,
Yeah.
and also principles of finance for the undergraduates.
So, what's your definition of financial literacy, and why is it significant for students?
All right, so financial literacy is a concept that looks at how well people are able to navigate the financial markets or make decisions that have to do with finance. So we can think of this as, for instance, if somebody wants to take a loan, then do they find the right, do they go through the calculation in the right way so that they can select a loan which is going to be beneficial for them rather than being expensive. But you can also think of it as investment. So once people have accumulated some wealth, can they choose investments that are going to, on the long term, be giving them a larger portfolio?
Okay, and what is the most basic knowledge or concepts that students should know before going to entrepreneurship?
So entrepreneurship is a very specific path towards this financial world. That is that somebody starts a business, and typically when you start a business, you will need to get some funding. We call that getting capital from the markets or getting capital from friends. So funding the entrepreneurial business is based on either getting partners who are going to charge for providing capital, or getting loans from banks, from friends. And each of these come with a cost. And so for the entrepreneur, it's important to know how they can get the best combination of capital for their business.
Yeah. And what about like basic knowledge for students that are not going to entrepreneurship, just for themselves, like personal financial?
How they start investing, is that the question?
Something like that.
So I would recommend to start looking at all the products that are available in the market. So we have here in Astana, across the road from the university, we have the Astana International Financial Center with a stock exchange. But there's also other parts in that AIFC that are trying to develop new products. So the best way to learn is actually by doing.
Yeah.
And like recently we had a Astana IPO. Look at the documents that come out during the IPO, read through these things, see how you can subscribe to initial public offerings. Open a brokerage account. You can open an account and actually not really trade with it. You only need a little bit to understand how money can work. Then the principle of saving. Like as a student, we always have a hard time saving because we're still not earning, and we have some expenses and so on. But once you understand that actually there's an accumulation, which we call compounding of interest rates, once you understand that this is really the way to build a large savings portfolio or an investment portfolio, then we understand that starting to save now, starting to invest as early as possible is going to have a major effect on the outcome of your investment portfolio. So I would recommend jump in and try some of these savings and investments that are out there in the market.
Yeah. And from your experience, what are the most common misconceptions or like issues with psychology of people like in financial literacy?
Well, you know, the financial industry has quite some jargon, which basically means that there's a barrier to start entering this financial market is seen as something that either is for wizards, or you have to put a lot of effort to understand. It's going to be complicated. But it's like with any profession, like when we talk to a doctor, we sometimes don't understand them totally. The same with the financial market is going to be this jargon that's just being used within this community. And I think that's like a major barrier of entry for common people to kind of understand whether they want to take part of that as well. And I think then we also hear a lot of the horror stories that people have invested in maybe the crypto markets, and then suddenly their money is disappearing and so on. So there is some fear that, and to a certain extent, this is also something that financial literacy has to help with, understanding that people can actually lose money. But there is this fear factor that stops people sometimes from entering the markets. And just trying common sense, just with a little bit of cash, and thinking of it as savings rather than gambling, that is going to help people to kind of like understand that this is not a bad thing to think about investing.
Can I cut it and can
Yes.
I ask an extra question? Like,
Yes.
is there like any, from experience, is there any like ways to implement financial literacy in like for higher education? Like, as we know in Kazakhstan, there's not a lot of availability of knowledge on financial literacy.
Or how to implement it in
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. So from your experience, there's a lot of ways of implementing financial literacy in UK and abroad. However, in Kazakhstan, we do not have like such cases. There's not a lot of availability of knowledge about financial literacy. And how can we implement it in schools? And like, is there any other ways?
So you're right that when you're actually in a country where the ecosystem for finance is still developing, then we don't always have the opportunity to interact with this system to learn. So for that, in an educational system, we can think of, there's so many case studies that can help out in understanding how also elements work that maybe have not been developed here. And so there are courses, of course, here at university and in other places as well, that can help students then to also understand how to build that ecosystem. If you think, for instance, about a very new development, we're all aware of the cryptocurrencies, right? So this is one of these ecosystems that is still building up. And so, the idea there is to learn from the mistakes, and that you can do clearly through case studies.
Yeah. So to conclude our interview, can you give advice for students, like from your personal view?
Yes, of course. So take courses at the business school, or just try it out yourself. And I hope later on you'll get really successful in investing.
Thanks that you came to our interview, like you shared your knowledge with us, and which is like very valuable to us. And we will try and we will give and make it available to everyone. Thanks for your interview.
Thank you. You're welcome.